What's up, you guys? It's your boy Simply Food by TY, and today is the day that I'm going to finally show you guys how I prep and marinate my turkey for Thanksgiving. So let's first start to talk about the fact that this is a 14-pound turkey. So it's actually not too big, but it's just enough. But you guys know me. If there's one thing that's for certain, I am never going to just take something out of a bag and just put it in the oven and season it. It needs to be cleaned. And as you can see, you will discover lots of things inside of your turkey, okay, if you take the time to actually clean it. I don't care if it says it's pre-cleaned, it's not, okay? There's a lot of stuff in there that you want to get rid of that's just not necessary. So first things first, of course, make sure that your sink is fully sterilized. And then as you start to defrost your turkey, what I do is I always put my turkey in the refrigerator, I would say about 4 days prior to Thanksgiving. So really, in all honesty, I will say 5 days, because you want that fifth day to be the day right before Thanksgiving, because that's when you're going to want to marinate your turkey. Now, of course, you can negate that rule of thumb if, in fact, you're buying a fresh turkey. I always buy a frozen turkey. I don't know why. I just always have. But, you know, that's just what I choose to do. But just please remember, it takes a lot longer to thaw out a turkey than what you may realize. So if you buy a frozen turkey, just please remember, if it weighs 10 pounds or more, take it out 5 days ahead of time so that you can make sure that it is fully unthawed. Because if you put it in the oven and there's still bits and pieces of it that's solid rock, you're going to end up with raw turkey. So as you can see, I'm taking the time right now to kind of trim off a lot of that excess fat. As you can see, you just don't want that. It's not necessary. And you can make use of it. I'm not saying that you need to throw it away. You can absolutely use that to put inside of a stock if you want to flavor up chicken stock. You know, any of those bits and pieces of fat, you can absolutely utilize them. But as far as consuming them, that's just not something that I'm necessarily interested in. So I always make sure that I go in and I trim all of that stuff off, because I just don't want that. Now, depending on the brand of turkey you buy, you might have this plastic clip. Sometimes now they have it, you know, already with the string. It kind of just depends. But once again, this is another reason why you really want to take the time to go in and make sure that you're cleaning your turkey. Because first of all, in the inside cavity, 9 times out of 10, there is going to be a bag full of the giblets, and there's also going to be the turkey neck, okay? So that's what we're working on right now. What we're working on right now is taking out that turkey neck. Now, like I said, once again, this is something that you can absolutely utilize. You can put that in a stock. That all of that type of stuff can go towards your gravy later on down the line. That's a very old school country way of cooking. Some people like to use it to make like a giblet gravy. Not everybody likes to do that. So you can either utilize it or discard it. But either way, you definitely want to remove it. Do not leave it inside of the cavity. I'm going to put that little plastic piece to the side because right now we don't need to be bothered with that. If you have some sort of deli string, of course, you can always tie your legs up. But if not, and if you didn't break the plastic, you can always reuse that later on as well. But once again, I'm just going in, making sure that I'm cutting off a lot of the excess skin. I also like to make sure that I take my hands and I rub my hands all over that turkey to make sure that there is no hair. You would be surprised how many times I've purchased a turkey and it still had a lot of hair on it. And as you can see, you know, I'm not even done yet and I've already removed all of that fat, the turkey net, the giblet bag, and the plastic. So just by looking at this bowl of stuff, had you just taken your turkey out, put it in the oven and seasoned it, you would have left all of that in your turkey, and that's just not, that is not good, okay? So now that we got the outside pretty much taken care of, let's go on ahead and take care of the inside cavity. Now, this is a part of the turkey that a lot of people just decide to ignore, and you're going to see in a split second why you should not. Because what I'm about to scrape out is absolutely disgusting. I don't want it, okay? So I always take a spoon and I scrape it out, and you see that, what's hanging? Yeah, that was on the inside of the turkey. I don't want that. So please just take the time to just make sure that it's fully cleaned out. I'm not sitting here saying that you need to remove every ounce of fat. I'm not sitting here saying that the inside of it needs to look picture perfect. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that oftentimes a lot of these turkeys that are quote unquote cleaned still have a lot of stuff in it, and not necessarily stuff that you're going to want to eat. And for those of you that really enjoy, like, see that right there? Why is that in there? Get it out. But like I was saying, for those of you, that like to actually put your physical stuffing or your dressing inside of your turkey, you want to make sure that you're putting it inside of a clean cavity. You know what I mean? So just take all of that into consideration. I'm going to keep cleaning this up. And then when I come back, I'm going to show you guys how we're going to make our butter compound in a few moments. Now, one thing I will say for certain is that by the time you're done cleaning this, you should be able to fully see through the back of the turkey through the front. There shouldn't be anything blocking that passageway at all. That's how you know if you cleaned it properly. If you can see straight through it, then you know you've done a very good job. Also, word to the wise, in the water, every single time that I redid it, I put a little bit of kosher salt and vinegar. The very last time when I rinsed it, the only thing I had in it was water. That kosher salt will work as an abrasive and it'll help get some of that slime. But as you can see, I've just unloaded a lot of nasty stuff from that turkey. So try not to skip that step, all right? All right, so now let's move on to our butter compound. So I'm using an 8-ounce block of Kerrygold butter. You guys, this is not the time to be cheap when it comes to butter. Y'all know me, I love me some Kerrygold, honey. Now to the food processor, I'm gonna add in 5 cloves of garlic. Like I said, the 8-ounce block of the Kerrygold unsalted butter. I'm gonna add in 2 sprigs of thyme and a sprig of rosemary as well. You don't add any salt or anything like that. It's just not necessary because we're gonna be seasoning it up. Now, I will say, make sure that your butter is somewhat cold. You do not want your butter to be melted by any means necessary, and you do not need to grind this down to a pulp. You really just want to make sure that you're breaking up all that garlic and all of those herbs, and then that's pretty much it. Now, if you're going to be doing this the day before, you could put it in a plastic wrap, and then it'll become nice and solid. The colder your butter compound is, the easier it's going to be for you to work with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take nice size handfuls of that butter and I'm going to stuff it underneath the skin, and I'm just going to press down so that that butter will slide down into any open areas under the skin. That's going to make sure that our meat is going to be full of flavor, and it's also going to help with making sure that, number one, it doesn't dry out, and number two, that you're going to have nice crispy skin. Okay, so just be very gentle so that you don't break the skin, but you definitely want to make sure that you're putting it under the skin and then just press down so that that butter will slide down into any open areas possible. Okay, then what you're going to do is whatever butter that you have left, you're then going to go ahead and start to spread it around the outside. Now, one little pro tip just to make your life a lot easier, because I know I used to do this the wrong way when I was younger, make sure that you pat dry your turkey. If your turkey is wet or has any type of moisture on it, when you go to rub this butter on it, all that butter is going to do is just slide around, and it's just going to seem like it's never going to work. So the drier the turkey is on the outside, the easier it's going to be for you guys to spread that butter around. So I'm going to continue to do that, and then when we come back, we're going to go ahead and start adding in some additional seasonings as well. So now that I got that butter on there looking just the way I want it, I got it. And like I said, it's covered all over the place. It's under the skin, it's on the skin, it's gonna be perfect. I'm gonna take the remainder of my thyme, my sage, and my rosemary, and I'm just gonna stuff that right on the inside. That's gonna be great aromatics. And now let's add in the seasonings. So I'm gonna go in with some onion powder, garlic powder, seasonal salt, black pepper, complete seasoning, and then I'm going to top it off with paprika. Now, this is a very basic turkey that I'm doing right here. I have made so many different variations on turkeys, whether it be smoked, deep fried, smothered. There's so many different ways that you can spruce up a turkey each year to make it brand new, but this is just the basics. So I'm going to show you guys how to take care of all of this now. You're going to put this in the fridge, allow this to marinate overnight, and then you guys can come back tomorrow and I will show you guys what the finished product is like. Again, super straight to the point, but now you guys got the basics.